Wait. That sounds really good. Zios, what speakers are those? iLoud MTMs. These are the desktop speakers I use. $700, and you can microphone correct, room correct them in place, and they do a really good job on low end. Except I'm not using them for low end because they will fall apart if you try to push them too hard. And I tend to be Zios and push things too hard. That, by the way, is Birdie Nom Nom Parache from the Defiant Order soundtrack. Anyway, or the Defiant Order album. We're gonna walk around and we're gonna get down on our knees, and we're going to first acknowledge the fact that a partially inflated Tri-Deer yoga ball is a great footrest. You should try it. But then we have this, and this is an SVS subwoofer, and it is small. And it's traveled a couple places in my house. I haven't brought it down the basement yet. We're gonna pause the video at some point and go down there. But this is $800, and it's their Micro 3000. And from the bit I've used it, I'm gonna tell you this is gonna be a positive review. And there's been other little micro subs that have come out in the last couple years. Sunfire is probably the most popular one, the one that has that story. And I was like, all right, it's SVS, you need to have like a little baby sub, and I've had little baby subs, it's not gonna be that good, it's fucking good. It's good. Now, I don't wanna like limit myself to just being up here. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna disconnect it from my, currently the Motu M2, it's just being hooked up, XLRs out of there into the speakers, and RCAs out of the Motu into that. This way the volume control on the Motu M2 controls everything. In case you wanted to know how I hooked this all up. By the way, look at my beautiful monitor on mount. I don't get to come up here for anything, so this is like, I'm just so proud of how this looks. It actually has no purpose but to look pretty. Anyway, let's move that subwoofer to a more deserving space. So now we're in the sunroom. And by the way, new 65-inch Sony OLED, going to get a review because you bet your ass I'm reviewing that. Now I've got it hooked up to the Topping D30 Pro, RCA out to that, and then the balance outputs are going to individual Emotiva monoblocks to these Q Acoustic 3030Is. And the white, the matching white, I just needed to experience this for an OCD thing, even as a little white Soundrise stand under the DAC to sort of present it up a little above the foot. So it sounds, here's the thing, it's not even in the closet where I like to have it in the closet. I've had many subs up here because of sheer laziness. Zios, you got a new subwoofer, great. And I will open up the closet where I know it sounds the best. And in fact, there is the Airmotive S12, which is a 12-inch subwoofer, which is not the most expensive subwoofer, but it's a honking big one. By the way, there's my old computer. And this subwoofer, the word is decimates anything that was ever capable of. Leave this open a crack so the computer could breathe. So now this is like the second place that I'm using it, and I've got it up a little bit. I'm going to show you the displays in the back. In fact, I'll probably do that up here so I don't have to do that in the basement. But it's just like, oh, that was a Tower of God facing the enemy. If you haven't seen the anime Tower of God, one of my favorite stylized, it's great. It's great. Just go watch Tower of God and Kevin Penkin. This is from Samurai Champloo. All the good low end, all the good tight low end anime music is just coming out of the woodwork. Probably less than this. Again, we're going to start the Q Acoustics review up here probably, and I'm definitely going to do the review of this up here. So I don't want to spend too much time listening to this thing. Just wait. Repping for a dream. Wait. Short music for short people. Anyway, so I'm going to unplug this again. I'm going to turn it off. Unplug the RCAs again. And I'm going to pick up an SVS subwoofer with one hand. This is relatively heavy, actually. Holy crap. So let's have a seat. I'm just going to sit on my sofa thing and then just look at it. So, hi, baby. Completely permanently covered things with you can't see it really, but there's a dip in the middle. and that is to allow for the excursion of the drivers. And there's equal drivers on both sides. So there's no ports, so there's no worry about chuffing. The actual insert for the amp wraps around the entire bottom of the unit. And apparently it uses 1/2 a watt in standby. It's got these metal feet. No, I'm sorry. They're metal feet, but they're rubberized on the top, so you can actually put them down and not damage anything. I think that's cool as hell. Well, it's actually slightly warm, but I haven't been kicking its ass too long. The top has nothing. The front has an SVS logo. I asked for it specifically in white because I'm so tired of just black boxes every day of the week. I wish they had some sort of other fancy color, but they don't. So look at the back of this. This is the first SVS sub that I've gotten that I'm just like, oh, this is modern. We have got all digital buttons. We've got a big analog power switch there. It has a 12-volt trigger that runs from 3 to 12 volts, AC or DC, and that's an input only, so you could have this thing turn on and off. Honestly, I haven't used that at all. I've just been using the automatic sleep mode. It has an SVS SoundPath wireless audio adapter slot, which is USB. So you can, I will link to it specifically below the link to this, which is probably, this is on Amazon. I wonder if they have the SoundPath thing on Amazon, but you can convert this to wireless via this USB. It has 4 RCA inputs. It has, it's 4 RCA plugs. An input, which is an LFE. By the way, OLEDs, you got to have 2 minutes. Then a goddamn screensaver, a dark screensaver has to come on because you don't want to burn in those OLEDs. So we've got LFE input, which if you only have one input, if you're going off of a surround receiver, you only have one. Boom, you go into that. Since I'm using it like basically the same way on both the desk and over here, if I have a stereo DAC, like that Topping 30 Pro is a stereo DAC, you send the left and right to it. Then you send your left and right to something else to power the speakers, and you're good to go. So I was using both. If you're only using it for a 0.1 in a surround sound, you use LFE. You have an output as well. So you could loop it through to go from a DAC through this and out, and then into an amplifier if you don't have a DAC that has multiple outputs. I don't believe this will do the cutoffs like the Emotiva SE12 will do, where that will accept full line in. And then you could tell it, look, don't give the speakers anything below 100 hertz. I'll take care of it. And then it moves up, and that's good because you know the speaker's attempting it, and that's how you do that. This does not have that. At least if it does, it's not controllable here. It's going to be on the app. Of course, there's an app. There's an app. It's a Bluetooth app. It basically does the same SVS setup that we went over in the past, where you get to control the volume, you get to control the crossover, and you get to control the phase all remotely, which is fantastic because a lot of people don't have a loved one, or I guess if you've been married long enough, a hated one that is willing to sit there and when you go, louder, honey, louder, a little bit louder. You went too far. Lower that shit. Fucking son of a bitch. So we'll actually play with this when it's in the basement because I'm going to set this up. I'm going to do a thing in the basement with this in a second, which is a lot easier to do with this because I can pick it up with my arms. We're going to do the sub crawl, which actually doesn't help my knees because I still have to crawl around. Anyway, let's go do that. But anyway, you have pop, up, down, then you have the on or auto adjustment settings, turn on, power off button. You could set the up and down for these LEDs for either low pass or volume or to adjust the phase. Real simple, and I like it because you could look at it and go, okay, I'm exactly 3 notches from the top. That's where I like my volume. You're not sort of like guessing with a thing. Like, is it here or is it here? Because it was good here, but maybe it's not good here. So let's go just pick this up and walk with it out of the beautiful, beautiful room with the beautiful TVs and the white speakers. And let's go assault my basement. Okay, pause that for a second. Welcome to my home theater in the basement. Chewbacca is now walking around my feet like a shark that's going to devour something. Oh, she's a shark. She's a shark. And here's the SVS sitting in the position where the heads will be when I modify the theater. 150-inch screen going in place of the 104. When that screen is there, it'll be about 1.5 feet back, and these seats have to come back so that you literally don't puke. One of the cat hair. One of the things that I'm gonna have to stress in a future video is there can be a screen that's too big. There can be a too big screen, baby tubers. And And so I'm going to be moving that seating back, which means where this is currently sitting on top of the box for the Forte, on top of a cutting board. Here, she likes to be up here. Where this is currently sitting will be roughly center head position for the love seat area. And that's what it's going to be. Going to move the seats back. This is perfect. If I was never moving the seats, this subwoofer would have to be here, which would involve quite a different array of pillows and things and ways to stack things. So now we're gonna signal this because relax, Chewbacca, Jesus. This is the Rhythmic 15-inch, which is my baby, even though this is the low power Rhythmic 15-inch, like 400 watts per channel, and that is 800 watts RMS and 2500 peak, so yes. Anyway, this is a position for the subwoofer when I had the theater here. It was literally to the right of the screen and the right of the speakers. And I haven't done the subcrawl with the new area. And the thing is, I'm gonna have to move that whole subwoofer here to do it. Or get a super lightweight subwoofer, right, Chewbacca? We're gonna plug it in signal. We have power. I'm gonna steal the signal from this, which is currently set up on an XLR output from a Geshelli Labs Enog. No J2s. And I'm just going to bring that over here. We're going to plug it into the LFE input. We're going to power this on. I'm going to lower it. Remember I said it light up? First of all, blue LEDs. Blue LEDs, Chewbacca. I know. But these buttons light up so you can see what you're actually doing. You pick low pass and you can set your low pass. We currently have it low passing at 40 Hertz. Since we're doing an LFE, I'm just going to raise it to the maximum, so that we are doing no cutoff. That was another thing on those other two setups. This was getting full range, and you have to adjust that low pass to match the speakers. So with the MTMs, I was doing, I think, 70 or 80, and then when I moved it to the 3030i setup, I lowered it down a little bit, just get the really, really low notes, didn't want to overpower anything. Here, we're just going to max that out. Oh, it defaults back to volume if you leave it alone for a second. You can see the blue LED, which is on. Amber LED will be auto mode, which if you're just sitting in standby, basically. If you want to adjust the phase, you hit that, and then you adjust phase from 0 to 180. That's another thing that we'll be adjusting on my mini DSP setup here. So leave the phase at 0, low pass at full, volume low. You ready, Chewbacca? Yeah, she looks ready. I just did a line from the movie Dread. Everyone needs to go watch the movie Dread. Don't let this kick your ass on the way down. So now I'm just doing FooBar. If you know anything about my home theater down here, there's a whole video. It's like an hour and 20 minutes long explaining what the fuck is going on. Go find that. Let's go back. Our volume is currently plus at negative 10 dB, which is where I had it, which was all the other speakers I have set up through the mini DSP are muted. That helps with A, copyright on YouTube, and B, sussing out any vibrations or where the sound's gonna be the best. You could hear that it is currently rumbling on that song. So we're just gonna slowly raise this up. Oof. We have it now. It sounds like thunder. Do you hear the thunder, Chewbacca? One of the issues I have is I can't see the screen from here unless I turn the projector on, which I don't want to do because I want to have the extra light. Welcome to the Pleasure Dome. Actually a good song, because we have a nice punch. What you want to do the subcrawl, by the way. For those of you who have no idea what I'm talking about, what the hell is a subcrawl? I should have explained this before I set it up like this. The subcrawl is where you put the subwoofer where your head is going to be, and then you crawl around like a dog, or in my case, like a cat, around your listening area or your room, which in my case is my entire frickin' basement, and you try to hear with your head and ears, hi, yeah. Chewbacca, do you want to do the subcrawl? Because you're already on the ground, like you're already small. You try to hear where the bass sounds the least warbly, the most tight, the cleanest, like you know what, you have to pick a song you know, which we'll have to do. And then you put it on repeat and you just go around like this. Huh? I mean, you could actually crawl on your hands and knees. This is a basement and I'm in shorts and slippers, so I'm probably not going to do that. But you get down and you sort of like scan. Because honestly, subcrawl, you know, people tend to put subwoofers on the floor. Sometimes 3 feet off the floor is exactly where the subwoofer needs to be. And if you're OCD like me and you're doing this home theater shit to this sort of level, figure out exactly via wave motion. Does the subwoofer need to be here, 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 there, here? And you go around, and because I could put this subwoofer, I'm going to end up probably not putting this little micro subwoofer down here. There's no reason to. But I'm going to end up putting that subwoofer wherever it sounds the best. I don't care if it's floating in the middle of the floor over here, in the corner over there, behind the screen, in my review space, wherever I have to put it. I'm going to run an XLR cable all the way to it so it sounds the best for the listening position. So that's what I'm going to do right now. First, we got to pick a song. I'm going to pause it right now because I don't have my keyboard here. It's over there. I'll be with you in a second, Chewbacca. And then we'll do the subwoofer crawl. Enough of my shit, you leaving? Bye. Anyway, so to finalize what I'm saying, you find a song that you know, and I know Run the Jewels, Angel Duster. You set it to repeat the track over and over and over again. This is probably going to take 10 minutes of your time. You set your subwoofer not to very, very loud, just like enough. You don't want it distorting, because if you listen to a sub all on its own, you might hear a little bit of like, and like, you won't notice that if everything's playing in harmony. And what happens is, after you've figured out where to put this subwoofer by, because it doesn't sound very impressive right here. In fact, we're going to turn up a little bit more. But that's like a good, I hope YouTube algorithm can't pick that up. And wait, I walked over here. You hear it? You don't hear the subwoofer anymore. This is a lull. That means the bass is traveling out, hitting things and bouncing back, and is canceling out right where I'm standing. There's no bass. But now we're gonna go. So after your battery dies, you continue to wander around, and I'm just doing this standing first. It's easier to do it standing first and then crouch down. If you plan on only putting it on the floor, that's fine. But the lull zone is right here. Almost no bass at all. Let me walk forward. Not bad. A little bit reverberary. Oh. Track repeat. Intro. And it's important to find a song that's consistent, like droney almost. Say a Prayer for the Cowgirl. That song is one of the ones that audiophiles use. It's pretty good here. Definitely have a boost of bass here. Walk through the curtains as we wander around my basement aimlessly like a zombie. Oh wait, here we go. Absolutely nope. It's a nope. And keep in mind, oh yeah, I thought the song changed. There's nothing happening now. I can't even hear it. Can you even hear it? It sounds like it's like what the hell's that noise? By the way, having your air conditioner run is probably not the best idea. Going through. Danny, give me strength. And it could be in the middle of the room too. Don't think it's just around the outside. Your perfect subwoofer position could be anywhere. No way. Oh, the song faded out. Okay, I was about to say, holy crap. Let the song restart again. It'd be nice if there was no intro. You could probably go into a audio editor, take just a section of song that you know best. And you could do this with music playing also. See, this is where this subwoofer is currently. So, judging from this to that, I could tell if this is in a good spot. Not really. So, I've been watching movies since it's moved over there for the last 3 or 4 weeks, and this is definitely in the wrong position. Oh, wait. That isn't bad. Way back here by this thing. Let's a little less here. Oh. Nothing? Something. It's very you understand the concept of what I'm doing, right? Just had the dun dun, and just keep walking around. And it could be over here. It could be sound smooth as butter over here. No, it's trying too hard over here. about in here? Extra paint and stuff. So what I'm gonna do off camera, because I could do this for fucking ever, is just wander around, and I know that that's not a spot. I know that this probably so far, like that subwoofer sounds like it's doing the most there, which means if I put that subwoofer here in the correct exact position where my head said that sounds pretty good, and then I move those chairs back, it'll sound the same. It's weird, it's wild how that works. It's like throwing a rock into a river and the ripples go out and the ripples come back, and then you just threw a rock at the edges and it would ripple into the center again. I hesitate to put it in this, like this area. I have no problem running the wire. I just hesitate due to the high amount of very shakeable metal things that are in this area, and I would rather, I know what that subwoofer or this subwoofer would do in this area. So again, now we're just gonna walk back over here. Let's check out the middle of the floor. Some people put this subwoofer right behind the couch. It turns out that that's their perfect position. Spiders? No. Not that there's no spiders. It just says this is not the area for it. Ooh. All right, I'm gonna continue to do this for the entire basement. I'll be back. Okay, so pausing that music. I could do other songs, but for now, this appears to be, and not here on the floor, here, it seems to be the best space for it. The only other spot that I actually had a really good response from was over here on this side of the air conditioning units. It's sort of like mellowed out right around this area. And it wouldn't be impossible to put it here, just run the XLR cable. Whereas in my specific case, I'm using an XLR DAC, so I can run it over and up and over and down and then find power over here. I certainly didn't want it to work over there because that would have been the worst. But for now, I'm just gonna clear off this corner. I think I'll roll the big subwoofer here and then plop that little bastard on top and we'll do a little sound test. All right, we are in location now, or on location. I want to point out how absurdly small this SVS is compared to like the giant Rhythmic. I also want to point out that it is highly recommended you get a long IEC cable, which is what, you know, subwoofers usually plug in with, the standard computer power plug, because dealing with a 6-footer, then you're looking at like 6-foot extension cords or 8-foot extension cords. I'd buy these 15-footers. This specific one is a monoprice cable I found on Amazon that is hospital rated, and I found two. I found it in black and I found it in gray and clear, and the gray and clear one is beautiful and super heavy duty. So I'm going to link this black one and the gray clear one, which I should probably be using the much larger, bulkier gray clear one, but that sits in a permanent position over there in the listening space. So now we've got this powered on. I'll lower the volume a little bit. Again into the LFE. Again, in my situation, I'm literally outputting from a balanced DAC and using an adapter to go into this through the LFE input, and everything is set up. It's a mess, but that's fine. That's why my basement is not going to get finished, so I could do this. And I walked the entire way. I mean, if I had to put the subwoofer over there in the corner, so be it. It didn't sound any good over my workbench area. It over here was sort of like wishy-washy. So, I mean, you're too close to the sub here to really judge. So now that it's there, powered on, and has signal, see what the music sounds like when I do this. Keeping in mind, I now have to be in this area. That sounds exactly like it did when I stuck my head there. It's so wild how that works. I have no, oh, by the way, I also have a VU meter here that shows me what my 0.1 is doing. Can I raise that volume? There. And I really don't pay attention to that while movies are on or anything, which we're going to put in a movie now. So I think what I'm going to do, pause this again, or actually, no. Now that I've got everything up and running, let me switch back to the DDRC88D. Yeah, it's a mouthful, I know. We're going to unmute at least the front 2 channels, and it'll keep the subwoofer involved. And I'm gonna lower it a bit because that seems a little high, excessively high in fact. Why can't I lower this volume? What did I do wrong? There we go, okay. So now when I hit play, and I put it up, oh yeah. RTJ. So now that's with the rest of the song, and I could sort of do, now I could do my balancing act where I would whip out my app and I'd be like, I want a little bit more here. And honestly, the way mine is set up with the mini DSP control, I would probably leave this nailed and then limit it there on this. But if you have the app, if you want to install the app on your phone and do all the little tweaking and things, by all means. I personally don't have to do it because my setup is just from fucking outer space. But you know, once you get it balanced and in the right position, and you have your left and right, and you're sitting where eventually you'll be sitting. Prayers for the dead. That subwoofer does a damn good job. All right, switching to movies. Hold on. All right, so I've got this thing maxed out. I have Wreck-It Ralph playing. I got the seat in the back here. The front's completely muted, so that hopefully copyright strikes doesn't happen. So I'm just experiencing rear channels and subwoofer. Wait. You know what? I bet there's too much music happening. We're definitely getting the rumbles that I would expect from a subwoofer. I do have to raise the output of my setup. Let's put on a movie that we all know and love, Edge of Tomorrow, which I'm kind of concerned might explode everything. And I want to be in this, obviously, the spot, but I also don't want it to blow the hell up. And since I can't show you the driver, I have a mouse to just do things, we're just gonna have to stand next to it and you have to take my word for it. Gentle, baby, gentle. I'm gonna lower it just a little bit. Just make sure it's not gonna... This only is rated down to 25 hertz, I think. Oh yeah, right there though. And there it is. I think this space might be just a tiny bit large, because I've always said that when my subwoofer recommendations is, you don't buy a subwoofer for you and your desk. Like, oh, I have these speakers and I want to buy, you know, this subwoofer. Speakers don't matter. It's the room. The subwoofer has to fill the space. And this is a 3,000 square foot basement with concrete walls. That subwoofer might be a little bit challenged down here. Two of them I think would probably be good if I alternated them, one there and one in the other listening position I liked, which was over there. Like if you did opposite ends of your listening space with two of those, you'd probably work out pretty good. Let's go on something that's a little bit less insane and demanding. Let's just go to a random action scene from The Expendables. That shouldn't be hard to find. Yeah, keeping in mind that the only speakers playing right now are the Klipsch and these two JBLs in the back. All low end have been redirected to those speakers, that subwoofer, so. By the way, the first Expendables was amazing, simply because of the speech that, what's his name, gave about the girl on the bridge. It was this just, oh God. The second one, third one, fourth one, fifth one, eighth one, There's a point where you're just too old. But that first one, man, oh, dread. There you go. You want to test the subwoofer, you put the dread on. Just... Oh, there you go. That's all that. We are living in that, and we're going to Peachtree's. Yeah, I think for smaller rooms, like upstairs, my office, wow. I am duly impressed by that little thing. Oh, people are about to get skinned alive. Probably don't want to show that on a YouTube video. I mean, it happens though. So yeah, I have no means of turning the lights on because my Echo is lying to me.
It looks like your Wi-Fi name or password has changed. To update your Wi-Fi.
It hasn't though, so it's just being dumb. All right, 1 sec. Thank God for smart apps. Anyway, so while Iron Man quietly plays over there and explosions are getting ready to happen, my final thoughts on this. I wasn't sure about a small baby SVS sub. They've always been this like big monster, big monster, big monster, big monster. And it's only been very, very few companies that can actually pull off the micro sub. And I guess when you've been doing this long enough and you have the funding and the research and development teams and you know what the hell you're doing, you could actually pull this off. So I am very proud to announce that I actually like this damn thing. It's one of the few, of all the SVS subwoofers that I've had in my possession, I've never said, hey, SVS, sell me this. And I'm probably going to say, hey, SVS, sell me this. Because at its size, oh, God damn, that was an explosion. Take it down a couple notches. At its size and power, in any space besides this one, which let me walk away from that so you could. I think that thing does at least as good as its price point. Because if you're saying, oh, I have a Zeus, I have a $500 spent on a subwoofer, or I want to get a subwoofer for my office. Most of the time, I'm going to tell you most subwoofers are going to be too big, but not that one. That one's just right. And I love it in white. No one will even say a word about it. It fits in with all decor. I'm all for this. The app, I wish I could have demonstrated it for you, but it's not working on my phone. Not because the app's bad, because my phone is old and getting replaced. I'm buying a Sony phone, by the way, so it can match my television and my future DSLR, or mirrorless. They don't do DSLRs anymore, apparently. Whatever, it's changing of the times. This, yes, worth the cost if you need small. If you can go, here's the thing. I'm going to link to this in the description, and underneath that, I'm going to link to a comparably priced other SVS subwoofer that isn't in the micro series, and you can just compare dimensions and weight. In fact, I will list underneath Zeus in the future. He hates when I do this. Future Zeus, piss boy in the future. Under the SVS, could you link the absolute dimensions in both imperial and metric for this and for the closest nearest neighbor $700-800 SVS sub in imperial and metric, so that everyone can compare and contrast. Will those do deeper lows? Probably, but you know what? This thing, for what it's doing with the dual, because that's another thing. It's not. None of these is a passive radio. These are two active drivers, squeezing a box full of air that's made out of brick. It does a hell of a job, and I think I'm done with this review. If you like these sorts of things and you want to support this channel, please, for the love of God, the algorithm sucks. Feel free to go to Patreon and subscribe, star link in the description. Every video has its own dedicated wallpaper. I've had to move this one around to 3 different computers. Oh, that's me holding a rocket launcher. So yeah. Rocket propelled grenade girl is available for download in the description. Link to that. Patreon subscribe star, $5 a month gets you see reviews early. Participate in yard sales, which this will be one of the subs that are like, hey, just keep it. In fact, here's 6 of them to give away, Zeus. Yard sales, 1st to the 10th of every month. I ship for free continental United States, half shipping international. The $10 tier gets you in the behind-the-scenes private Telegram chat, where those people get to know exactly what's happening with my entire life, all the time, immediately. And if you have any questions you want to ask me, that's where you want to do it. And if you ask those questions in the chat, you can get 250 very, very helpful people. Well, it's more like 70 people who actively chat, more like 30 people you actually want to listen to. But they will help you with any problems you have along with me, because we're in this together. We're spending money or saving money. I don't know. It's one of those two things that chat will help you do. It's never just saving money. Sometimes it's a spending money sort of place. But yeah, wallpapers, Patreon, subscribe star. Thank you to SVS for sending out that little baby. They probably could have shipped that USPS and just sent it in an envelope. Look how tiny it is over there. I could barely see the damn thing. I'll link to all the things I said, power cords, and you don't really need XLR adapters, but I do. And I think that's it. And I'm going to go back to watching Wreck-It Ralph, because honestly, that movie is under fucking rated. I never saw Wreck-It Ralph 2, though. Maybe it's worth a shot. So yeah, that Hi-Fi Guides and the Hi-Fi Guide forums. This should be in the subwoofer or home theater section in the Hi-Fi Guide forums. And I will see you all in 2 days for another review. I've been Zeos Pantera. Goodbye.